Good morning everyone and welcome to a new video on the channel. It is Saturday the 9th of November 2024 and today we're heading over to Lancashire for AFC Fylde versus Gateshead in the National League. So I'm in Kirkham and Wesham, half an hour later than I should have been thanks to yet more Northern Rail incompetence. Just heading to the Kirkham Beer House, which is where I went after last season's game here was postponed on Easter Monday. Let's just hope I don't end up in there all afternoon again, but going into this afternoon's game, AFC Fylde are currently in 20th place in the National League table, which is one spot above the relegation zone, not having the best time of it so far this season. They are managed these days by Kevin Phillips, who took over from Chris Beach, who lost his job after a pretty poor start, and Kevin Phillips hasn't really fared that much better either. And in the last game, which was 2 weeks ago, they lost 5-0 at home to Altrincham, and I was watching the highlights of that game, and I've got to say the defending from Fylde is probably the worst I've ever seen from any team at this level. So they'll be coming into this game looking for a response there. Similar to us, haven't played that many games recently. On the back of getting knocked out in the FA Cup in the fourth qualifying round, they had last weekend off, and obviously haven't entered the National League Cup. So you could argue they're coming into it a little bit more fresh than us, and it goes without saying they're a massive bogey side for us. This is my 6th visit now to Mill Farm. I've never missed us playing here, and in the previous 5 visits we've drawn 1 and lost the other 4. Haven't even scored a single goal in that time, and in the odd 0-0 out we blasted a penalty all the way up to the Lake District. So that kind of compounds our luck here. Can that change today? And speaking of Gateshead, we are obviously in 4th place in the National League table, as I alluded to at West Auckland the other night, and that is on the back of that 91st minute winner away to Solihull, at home to Solihull Moors. Sorry, in our last league game. Obviously this week had cup games on consecutive nights. Lost 2-1 at West Auckland in the Durham Challenge Cup, then lost 2-1 at home to Leeds' under-21s in the National League Cup. Obviously I was at West Auckland where it was all academy players, but obviously didn't bother with the Leeds under-21 games such as my feelings towards that competition. But in that game there was a lot of heavy rotation from us, so I think today it'll be more the Gateshead team that we're sort of become a bit more accustomed to seeing. And I think if you take our poor record against Fylde out of the equation, you would maybe look at our next few games and maybe regard it as an opportunity for us to kick on a little bit. I believe there's in the next couple of weeks or so like teams that are around us are going to be playing against each other. Obviously Barnet playing against Oldham today. I think Forest Green are playing against York next week, aren't they? So yeah, it's maybe a bit of an opportunity for us to maybe sneak up a couple of places unnoticed, but obviously we've got our job to do as well. Obviously Fylde will be looking to maybe kickstart their time under Kevin Phillips, and obviously next week it's Aldershot, which is always a pretty tough game. Maidenhead the week after, which is never easy to go to. So again, the games might start coming a little bit thick and fast again, but I think that break from sort of playing all together did come at a good time. But now it's time to get back into motion again. So we're going to go to the Kirk and Beer House now. Then we'll head on down to Mill Farm and find out how it all unfolds. Well, our record against Fylde might be a bit pish, but there is always one plus sides coming this way. So the team's now warming up. Fylde are getting ready in the far distance, going to be in all white this afternoon. And Gateshead are getting ready right in front of us. Going to be in the black third strip. So I'll see you when the players are coming out of the tunnel and ready to start the match. Of course, it is Remembrance Weekend, and there is going to be a ceremony for that before the game starts. But it's great to see Joe Grayson out there warming up with the players again. Probably a couple of weeks or so before we see him back in action, but good signs anyway. Unless the mascot served, I don't know why he's following him around.
The years come down, at the going down of the sun, and in the morning we will remember them.
Go on. Every time we come here, every time.
Scoring for the Costa!
You went looking for that. Why are they getting so much space down that left hand side? Go on! We just cannot score at this ground for love of money, can we? Half-time AFC Fylde 1, Gateshead 0. Do we want to give them any more space down the left-hand side? All in all, it has been way too passive so far in this game. I mean, we've had the majority of the chances, but as I said, just been maybe at times a bit too sluggish on the ball, giving it away a bit too cheaply. As I said, giving him too much space down the left-hand side. The right-hand side hasn't been so bad, but yeah, just totally caught on the break for their goal, and it just seems to be the same game every single time we play against Fylde. Like, we're just never ever going to score against them, are we? Some of the chances we had in that first half really ought to, but yeah, it's just been a really frustrating day so far. I mean, yes, sometimes football doesn't go your way, but a lot of this we are bringing on ourselves, if I'm telling you the truth. So I think really we've got to change something in the second half, especially tactically, because up to now it just quite simply isn't really working. Whoa! Go on! All our own doing.
Score of the third Coasters goal. Your number 10, Nick.
4 minutes Valentine.
Minimum of 4 minutes at a time. 4 minutes at a time. Come on, you coasters!
From time to time again, pretty much all our chances have come from us being slack on the ball.
Full-time here at Mill Farm, AFC Fylde 3, Gateshead 0.
Full-time AFC Fylde 3, Gateshead 0. Every single chance that they had today was as a result of our own slackness on the ball, and ultimately I think, if I'm honest, players and management have got to take responsibility for that today, because I think tactically it just didn't work today. I think there was just too many players that were a bit too quiet. The substitutions came a bit too late and were of little to no effect, so I think that is a pretty harsh lesson that we've been taught there today. And I know people will start banging on about how many shots we had, how much possession we had and whatever, but I don't give a shit, to be honest. The fact is, yes, we had a lot of shots, but how many meaningful saves did the goalkeeper have to make? Then you look at all of their goals, it was a result of us being way too slack and getting caught on the breaks. So as I say, it's just one of those where where collectively we've got to learn from it. And I've got to be honest, some of the performances away from home this season have been questionable, to say the least. And for me, if I'm telling the absolute truth of it, that today was worse than Dagenham and Tamworth in its own sort of way, to be honest. I mean, I know that Dagenham, the scoreline will get all the headlines, and at Tamworth it was just a really, really bleak night. But when you're having that many shots at goal, what have you, and ultimately you're on the wrong end of a 3-0 scoreline, then quite simply you've only got yourselves to blame. Fylde absolutely dominated us towards the end of the game, probably from that point where I moved from behind a goal into the seated area. They started to get on top of us. I mean, not that's really an impact me moving my position, but you know what I mean, it was sort of getting towards the last 15-20 minutes of the game, and they just started to click, started to get on top. But really, with some of the chances that we were having, we should have been we should have been at least level at that point, and we all pretty much gifted them that win. I mean, I know they needed the win today on the back of some really poor form of late, but I think now we're the ones that need a response in the next game, which is of course at home to Aldershot. Aldershot having a bit of a tough time of late, but then again so are Fylde going into this game, and look what we've just handed to them today. So it's such a degrading day, to be honest, and that is now 6 visits to Mill Farm, and we've not even found the back of the net. 1 draw, 5 defeats. It's just one of those grounds I just really never want to see again. And they've still got to come to the International Stadium, but our record against them at home isn't exactly the best either, is it? So an absolute write-off that one today. But as I say, I think strong words need saying, I'm not going to lie. I think a couple of home truths maybe, and then next week we've got to be better. It's as simple as that. But that is that for this video, and I'll be back tomorrow with my first women's game of the season. It is Northallerton Town versus Linthorpe Academicals. So until then, take care, cheers for watching, see you later.